What's up, guys? Tyler at RC Madness coming at you with another video. We got today the Futaba 3PV controller, another entry-level digital radio with a screen on it, 2.4 gigahertz from Futaba. Previous videos we talked about the Spectrum one. This, in my opinion, is their #1 competitor in that segment, the Futaba radio. We're going to take a quick look at it. I did grab the box. They're coming in at 140 bucks. That's radio and receiver. So a little bit better deal because the Spectrum is 150 without the receiver. But we'll do a comparison video a little later on. We're just going to talk about the radio itself and what I use it for. So the Futaba, pretty basic, pretty simple, not a whole lot going on. Feels pretty good in the hand. Nice wheel, pretty good tension on it. The trigger's a little soft for me, in my opinion, but it's not a high-end radio, so it's not adjustable. But it gets the job done. I do use this radio quite often. I find it to be a bit better for the racing application. The latency between the radio and the receiver are very good compared to some other ones. The display system on the front is pretty nice. It's not backlit, so if you're in a darker environment, it's a little tricky to see it. But if you're well lit, not a big deal. The only thing I don't care for is it doesn't have any kind of scroll wheel or scroll button. You have to tap the over buttons to cycle through everything, because it only has the buttons here on the front, which I will show you when I bring it a little bit of a close-up. But other than that, it's a pretty solid radio and does most things. It's lacking in a few functions, which is why I usually direct people towards this radio for racing and not so much crawling or specialty type deals. But let's check out the screen. I'll bring it up close. We can check that out.
All right, guys, quick close-up of the Futaba radio, the 3PV. Pretty decent screen. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. I just took it out of the box. Kept it on there, keep the screen looking nice. Decent radio. Like I said, pretty good tension on the radio there. No antenna to break off. Got this, but it's pretty stout. Not going anywhere. Hold the button here. We'll turn it on. Cycle through a few things. Here's your main screen. We do get the voltage for the radio system. Another thing makes Futaba a little trickier is they do have different receivers, T's and S's, which do bind differently. And you do have to turn the radio on and off to switch modes, so it can be a little tricky to get used to that. You can have up to 10 models in this car. You can name each model. This is just the system setting, model settings. This is where you can switch the, see it's asking me to power off the different type. When you power it off and turn it back on, it switches the type. Dual rate. Different channels. You got a few buttons here that you can program for a couple channels. Trims, up and down, left and right, channel 1, channel 2, all the basic stuff there. Dual rates, you can adjust your endpoints, your left and right. That's your amount of steering. Pretty much for any car, that's something you're gonna have to mess with, which some non-digital radios don't give you. You have a steering mix, throttle reverse, exponential you can mess with. It does have a fail-safe, which is pretty nice if you get nitro or fifth scale cars, anything like that. It's fairly easy to set up. It does have an ABS setting, which is kind of nice. It'll actually pulse the brakes for you a bit. I use that mostly just for drag racing. And then you can copy one model to the next model. This is all the basic functions. Then you just kind of hold the button down and it reverts you back to the home screen. So as I was saying, cycling back and forth by tapping the arrows. If you want to go just to reverse something, you have to sit here and tap. Which can be a little annoying if you're trying to do something in a hurry and get your car on the track or something. But really a small complaint. But otherwise a really reliable setup. Nothing really to break on the radio, so even if you got someone that's a little bit younger and you just want to get them something to use, not a bad radio. Oops, just your basic AA batteries in there. Nothing too crazy.
So we checked out the screen and a couple of the functionality of it, so you guys can make your opinion about that. I find it not hard to use, but a little less intuitive than some other radios, just with having to click the buttons and then the plus and minus. It's a little annoying, if I'm honest. But otherwise, the radio, it's super reliable. I've hardly ever had any problems, and I've sold countless ones of these. I've used it personally in my race car before, and a couple of bashing stuff, just to try it out. The only thing I didn't really care for at all was crawling. Didn't have a couple settings I didn't really like. Bashing, it was fine. Don't really need a lot of settings for that, and took a pretty decent beating, dropping on the ground, passing around, that kind of stuff. And then racing, it was pretty good. There's a few features I would like for racing and also drag racing. You can't really adjust the speed of the servos, or it's kind of hard to soften the throttle. A couple things like that. Lacking a couple features for that, but it is a pretty good price at $140 for an entry-level digital radio. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking to do with it. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.